Hello, my name is Dev Rossick. Welcome to my stream. Today we're streaming Valheim, the outstanding survival crafting game from Iron Gate. Folks, it's just 3 days until the start of Val-Con Hype Week. It's going to happen on the morning of Saturday, the 11th of April, 2026, in case you're watching this later. And on the morning of the 11th at 12 UTC, there's going to be a stream on the Val-Con YouTube channel and the Val-Con Twitch channel, in which you can learn all about the Hype Week worlds and find out how you can gain access to any one of those worlds and join in and play on those worlds yourself. I'd like to invite you all to check it out. Go and look at val-con.org. That's VAL-CON.org. There's a banner at the top of my screen you can look at and see that website there. You can find out all about it there, learn about the various streams, the various opportunities that are going to be made available to everyone who joins in the convention. Please check it out. Oh. Now, at the end of our last stream, we had located a great new place to build a new base. Actually, I'm going to bring that with me. And we'd also gotten some metals smelted here in our little smelting setup. We were mining the copper ore out of this node over here. And we're going to continue that in a little bit in the future, but for the moment, we've got enough copper on hand to be getting on with. So we also set up a portal pair so that you can portal directly to the sites you want to go, and I'm going to step through that now. I've done a little bit of work offline to prepare the site. I've leveled out a larger area. I think it's going to rain. That's nice. I've leveled out a larger area for our place to build and so forth, so this is going to be the base area. I brought in some bees, so we have a supply of honey. Well, not yet, anyway. I've got a little bit of station over here so we can repair our tools and cook any food that we get. I've done some hunting, so my food supplies are currently filled up. I also went out and cut down a lot of trees. Many of them were trees a little further back into the forest because I didn't necessarily want to remove the tree cover right around here. I may do that later, depending on how things look when I've got the defenses built up. But yeah, so we've got up in these chests located up this little slope. We've got a lot of wood. We've got some core wood and some fine wood chopped from various trees in the Black Forest and the meadows. A few other supplies, some random creature things that were left behind when we were doing some hunting. And we put these stones away. So, we're ready to build. Now, building in the rain isn't the best thing ever. Oops, I can't take that much. Let's see. Nope. I'm going to cut this one in half. There, that's better. Building in the rain isn't fantastic. So, whether you know or not, when you have buildings and they get rained on without having a roof to protect them, the materials in them will take some damage. They will become degraded until they're halfway down on their durability scale. They'll sort of change color and look a little warped and bent. It's not very pretty. As soon as we get a roof to cover the building, though, we can go through it and repair all the parts that are damaged. So what we'll do is get a minimal amount of building put up, just enough to get the layout of the place, get some walls up, get a frame, and then get the roof on as quick as we can, and then repair everything that's underneath that. Now, I just wanted to go through a few things about building and roofs really quickly. So here, let me eat some food. And hopefully you can see all this. Let me check on one thing. If we can sleep through the night, maybe we can get past this rain. Because that really does hinder our ability to see what's going on. There are ways that I could stop the rain from falling, and I may use them. I'll have to think about it here. I am wet. I am no longer wet, and I can sleep through the night. Good. Let's see if we can get a nice clear day. Well, the rain is stopping. A little bit misty here. Let's see how it is up in the base area. Okay. I think this will do. It will brighten up soon. Okay. So there's a basic relationship that occurs between the number of squares or floor pieces in the base of your building and the roof that you put on it. So I realize it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but don't worry, it will brighten up soon. I'm just going to quickly throw down some floor pieces. And there, I put down 3 floor pieces. And I'll put up a wall. This is just a representative build. So now I have 1, 2, 3 squares across and walls going up. If I build a roof over this, starting from each side, you see that I'm now left with a gap of 1 roof piece in the middle. I can use the middle roof piece, the ridge piece, and connect them together. And that all comes out very neat and tidy. Roof pieces on each side, the ridge in the middle, and an odd number of floor pieces across on the, would be what would be called the gable end, the end where the ridge of the roof is pointing. Now, let's see what happens if I change this so that there's an even number of floor pieces, of course. So now I have 4. Do basically the same thing. Put up a wall. Put up some roof pieces. Okay, so now the gap is wider than 1 roof piece. So put a second roof piece there. And a second roof piece there. And now they've met in the middle. And I can't really use that ridge line piece. I could still do it. There are ways of clipping it in together. But this is what happens when you have an even number of squares across. Neither one is better or worse. One thing you can do here is you can put in a beam, and then it looks just like the ridge line. But if you wanted to use, say, this X decoration on the gable end, you can still do it, but you see how that comes in so that the end of it is halfway in between. It's in the middle of the roof piece instead of aligned with its border. Then if you wanted to fill out the rest of it with these slope wood beams, you put in one, you put in the next one, and it's suddenly hanging over the edge. Now, that could be an architectural detail you like. Maybe you like that little hanging over the edge, or maybe you don't. So you could put an angled piece in here, and then you see these two are overlapping. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Just be aware of what you're going to have to do when you are working with roofs of different sizes. If I was still on the odd-sized floor gap, as it were, like that, here, I'll break that up. Then when I did the same thing, put in the roof piece, put in the ridge piece now because I can use it, and I put in that cross piece up here. And now if I use these angled beams, you see everything lines up. Is that better or worse? No, it's just different. But in your planning, if you want things to end up a certain way, be aware of the difference between the odd and the even number of squares across your gable end. Okay. we're going to do something even different yet. We're going to build a roof with an overhang, and that will change the math on that a little bit, and I'll show you how that works when we get to it. Right now, I want to figure out an alignment for our building. So right here, by looking at myself on the mini-map, I can see my arrow is pointing directly down or south. So that's fine. So this would be directly north. Good. Now, to my mind, let's zoom in here a little bit. To my mind, the facing of the building should kind of be toward the action, which at this point, at least, is mostly up here in this Black Forest area. Okay. So I think I want my main doorway to be facing north. Now, do I want my main doorway in the gable end of the building? That would be more authentically Viking. Or do I want it in the middle of the building? That could be a little bit more practical. If I look at the space that I'm in, I think I have a little more space running this way. So I kind of want the long dimension of the building to run this way. Okay. I could put some wings to the side. I don't know. I haven't really decided how I'm going to build it yet, but just kind of looking how flat this ground is here. I think we'll start up over here somewhere, not too close to the edge. We'll start laying down some floor pieces. Let's call this maybe the middle. And then if we build 2 on each side, that gives us a building 5 squares wide. And let's see, how long do we want to go? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a pretty big building. Yeah. We'll spend quite a bit of time figuring out stuff like this because this is a decision you're going to have to live with for a long time. So it's better to get it all worked out, figure out how your building is going to sit in the space. Leaves us some space over here. Leaves us some space over. By the way, the reason you're seeing all these different lines is I have these 4 workbenches around the corners. That just helps make sure I have coverage of workbenches wherever I go here. But, you know, as long as things will build, you're all good. Yeah, that's not bad. It's a pretty good size. Can we maybe make it one longer? Toward the back here? That's interesting. Again, we could do some wings on each side if we wanted to. Little bump outs to add some more space. We could even do that later. There's no reason to have everything perfectly set the first time you build it. So I've got, how much have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, the other nice thing about using odd numbered lengths along that is if you want to put a door, you know, in the middle of the wall, it works out very nicely when you've got an odd numbered space like this. Everything lines up. You've got these neatly centered doors. Oh, I'm going to need more wood. And I do kind of like a neatly centered door. I personally really enjoy symmetry. Other people may want deliberate asymmetry. Hey, it's all good. So let's go with this. Yeah, I think this will do good. Now, if the gable end is going to be like this, if my roof is going to be in a triangle above my head here, there's a direct relationship between how wide you make your building and how high your roof is going to end up. That relationship also feeds into the support rules. Remember that when you build in Valheim, everything must be supported. If you try to go too high with your building, I'm going to change it to snapping bottom. There we go. Come on. There we go. If you try to go too high, eventually things are going to start to fall down. I can't really build that high, not easily anyway. So, you know, how high you're going to go with your roof in the middle will be at least partly determined by how many squares wide your building is. So 5 is perfectly feasible. We can easily get a roof over this that won't fall down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in these beams around the edges. These are absolutely unnecessary from a support standpoint. I think I like them from just a making it look better standpoint. And also, need more wood. It allows me to remove the floor pieces on the inside and just build upwards from the beams. The advantage of that is if I do end up building in the rain, I have fewer pieces I need to repair before I get the roof on. But I'm not going to necessarily remove the floor just yet. I just get this stuff in here. I'll come along later. What I'll end up doing is taking out the beams here where the doors go in, because they are kind of a blockage to walking smoothly across that opening. And then this helps me see where the doorways will be. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some vertical poles. I'll start with just the corners and maybe around the doorways. I've kind of a style I've developed after doing a whole lot of buildings in Valheim. But this is my style. You are encouraged to develop your own and to be proud of it, because whatever you do is probably good. I'm going to add a second 1 meter high beam on top, pole on top of each of these. And this defines the basic wall height. The 2 meter pole, as you see, is tall enough to clear the Viking, but I like a little more space. It allows me room to create some windows, let some light into the building, and just generally be a little happier with that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some beams across here. Now, remember the support rules. If I just kept trying to go across here, you see how quickly that starts to turn red. I'll make it, but sometimes it's easier to build from both directions and meet in the middle. Whatever works. And this is going to be the level that supports the roof. It is absolutely amazing how fast this wood goes as you're doing a major building. Oh, I'm carrying too much. Why am I carrying too much? Well, no worries. I'll deal with it for a moment until I can get the few beams put up, and then that will solve the problem. And there it is. Now I'm not carrying too much. Get this put across. And we'll fill in the walls and stuff underneath soon enough. Okay. Right. Actually, I can close in these pieces too, because the door will fit neatly underneath that. Okie dokie. So that's kind of our basic frame. And now comes the fun part where we figure out how to do the roof with the overhang. Here's how I do that. I start by taking the 1 meter beam that far out from the corner, and then I turn it 90 degrees and come that far out in the other direction. And this defines the edge of the roof. And as you see, it will overhang for 1 meter off the gable end and for 1 meter off the side. And what I can then do is get a roof. I'm going to use the steeper roof. I just think it looks better. And start right there. And that establishes my roof line. And if I continue to build that across, you quickly see that we have a challenge here. I've got this first piece under the support of the wood, but these others are just hanging off the other roof, and they're turning toward the red end pretty fast. So what I want to do is come along here and fill in beams sticking out so that the roof pieces have something to attach to. And this one, I'll do the same thing I did at the other end. Some of this may be removed later on. It's just temporary, but for the moment, we need to be there. No, that's not right. Let's try this from this side. You can see the little reticule in the middle of my screen, that little crosshairs thing. And what I'm doing is I'm pointing it right at that point on the edge of the roof piece where that supporting crossbeam is, right there. And that helps ensure that it snaps correctly to the other piece of roof. And then finally, I can point to it, that one. All right, so now you see the basic idea. The roof's going to overhang here, and it's going to overhang on the gable end as well. Now, this was a odd-numbered floor pieces across, so you might think, oh, this is going to meet with the ridge line in the middle, except by bumping it out, this 1 meter piece, it's now effectively become an even number of floor pieces across. It's now 6 across as far as the roof is concerned. So no, it won't meet that way in the middle. It's going to meet with just 2 roof pieces coming together. That's all good. But just be aware that if you use this overhang method, it changes the pattern. I'm just pointing at the edge of the lower roof piece. It's entirely likely as you build higher up, you might have to build some sort of scaffolding, which is basically there to enable you to get close enough to it to be able to build. There's only so far up that the hammer will let me build. Can I do that? Yes, I can. It's a little trickier, though. It usually works better from the side. You see how red this is getting. These might not all stay up. Well, I'm out of wood. Oh, gotta watch my food here. And my hammer is also getting worn out. So, all right. That's what this is for. What will happen is, if we can get these roof sides both built, they will help support each other. They sort of, you think of it as like they're leaning together and holding each other up. But I think one more level higher and this roof would not be self-supporting. We'll add some more supports up in the middle later on. Okay, that went pretty well, and it doesn't look like it's going to fall down. Super. So now we can work on the other side. And start the same way. Bump it out 1 meter this way, 1 meter this way, and put in the, nope, not that one. Yes. Put in the first roof piece like that. Fill in the supports under here. And then add the other roof pieces. Okay. Notice how I stop before placing each piece. It's remarkably easy to place a piece in the wrong position, and sure, you can just tear it right out, but that gets very irritating. So taking a little moment to make sure you've got your piece in the right place. It's usually easier, come on, than going to the trouble of taking it out. When doing more complex builds, though, be prepared for the fact that you may have to build something 2 or 3 times. I have to get outside before you're satisfied with your results. Well, I think our day is coming to an end here. Yeah, that's the sun in the west. Sure would like to get this roof on, though. It might be raining tomorrow, and it would be, if this roof was on here to cover it up, that would be a big help. So if you're having trouble getting it to snap, remember that you've got snapping options here. So top, bottom, there. By choosing bottom, it now snaps in there much more easily. And then I can go back to auto and point at the side for the remainder of them. Just a few more. We can, oh, out of wood again. Dear, oh dear. That should be enough. Just get this. It's always a relief when you get your building under roof, because then you just don't have to worry about the rain damage anymore. Now, say, sometimes when you do that, you connect it together, the color of the roof pieces changes. Didn't make a whole lot of difference here. It's still pretty red. Some of them may have gone a little bit more towards the orange, but anyway, it's not falling down. It's fine. Let's go back and sleep till tomorrow. And not to worry, fairly soon we'll move our bed into the new place and we can just sleep on site. Okay. Day 43. Hard to believe it's been that many days. Okay. So, this is a nice start. See how the roof is overhanging all the places? Oh, what happened here? Must have broken something there. So, let's maybe start working on getting some walls in here and finishing the floor and just generally giving it a more complete look. You know what I'll probably do, actually? Sometimes a little hard to see what you're doing. Let me get some wood. Let me pick up a stack of resin. And I know at least initially, here, let me zoom in on this. At least initially, I don't need to have anything right in these corners. So I'm going to just drop torches here to add a little light in the interior space, which will be a big help in placing a lot of other things. I'll maybe stick one in the middle of each side too. Okay, there we go. Those are mostly temporary. But now we can see much better what's going on. Okay. I don't really want the resin. Want is more wood. Oh, too much. Okay. There we go. Now, one of the things I want to do is put a roof ridge on it. I could try to do it from the ground, but that's going to be very hard. So what I will do is use these ladder pieces, turn that around, and just put it in there, and then put another one on the bottom, clipped into the ground. But now, this roof up here, you can walk up it, but you're going to slide back down. So that's very difficult. Oops. So what I'm going to do is place ladders against the roof like that. And then I can easily walk up the ladders and get to the top of the roof. Now, I'm going to try and... this isn't working. Off I go. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see a little bit better. I'm going to try and perch myself on the very top of this roof. Let's see. Okay, this might work. So if I take the beam and I align it with the roof like that and snap it right in there. This one was red because I was blocking it. Okay, let me get that going. That's good. Now, whoop. With some careful jumping, I can get up on this roof, on the ridge line, and just walk along it. I just think this provides a nice finished look to it. There's no structural reason to do it. Just like that. Okay. We might need to get on the roof again, so I'll leave those there for the moment. They're quite visible from the inside, so hopefully I'll remember to take them down. Okay. So now what? Well, I don't like these pieces on the edge of the roof. I think the raw edge actually looks a little better, so I'm going to take off the ones on the corner. Okay. Next thing is, these beams coming out are nice, but for my eye, it doesn't seem like there's enough of them. Now, the neat thing is, there's a seam. You see how the pieces going out to support the roof, they're in between where the borders of the roof pieces are. So this will neatly snap right in between each of the roof pieces. And so I can just double these up. And yeah, I think that looks better having more of them. Feels more solid. In fact, it's not any structurally different, but it feels better. So I'll just continue putting these in. Yeah. I may get one in here later when I figure out some other things. Actually, could do that and then put that like that. It's interesting. Don't hate that. Yeah. All right. Now, let's think about the edge of this roof. Oops, that's the wrong angle. There we go. Now I could just go with these pieces here. That's all good. It's a little plain though. I really like that that X piece at the top. These two roof pieces don't look like they're aligned properly. So let's see. Yeah, because this can be a little fiddly trying to get this in there. No, I don't want you there. Had it for a second. There we go. Okay. Okay. So then I can put the angled piece in like that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sure. Then maybe I can come down here like this. Oops. Nope, that's not right. Let's try that again. Trying to do is get it up against the roof. I need it to go over a little farther. Okay. When a piece doesn't want to snap where you want it to, one thing you can do is you can hit the, it's usually the shift key. It's a little different in my computer, but just hit a key to try and push it over there. It's not really cooperating. Let's try something here. If I put this piece there like that, that's where I'm trying to get it to snap to. So I now try to put that piece in and snap it over the top of where that other one went. Here, I'm just going to temporarily take this piece out so I can see what I'm doing here. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Remove that, and there. I got it to snap in. See that? Now, that will leave a piece of wood sticking out, which isn't bad. It's not a bad thing. Having a sort of a double end on it is a design option. Yeah, and then I put those pieces there, and then it looks like I meant it to be that way. Well, because I did. Let me put this beam back. Okay, let's try it over on this side. Take that out again. And try and sneak this angled piece in here. There. Good. And then put in those pieces up like that. Like so. Yeah. Now I know I've got roof. I've got wood hanging out on the roof up there. That could be one good reason for me to still have this ladder. Because what I can do is I can run up there. Get up on the roof ridge, run along, and just slide down and pick that stuff up. Okay. Alrighty. Well, what I really like, though, is some more support inside. So, is that the right beam? That's the right beam. So let me snap on the bottom here. Put those up there. And is that touching? Can't tell from this angle. Not quite. It's going to need a 1 meter high beam, or post, I should say. There. Now that goes all the way up. Remember I said I would put more support on the inside, and that's kind of what I meant. So that's not bad. Let's finish these off with posts. And now I'm going to go across with some beams. Like so. Need more wood. I may have to go tree cutting again. Right. Okay. There. And there. Okay. I don't hate that. Another beam across here. And a 1 meter beam across there. Sure, that looks intentional. Now, what I'd really like to do is put a beam through right about here. But it's not where it wants to go. I could overcome that. No, I'll leave it the way it is. What I will do, however, is fill in some of the walls. I'm going to turn the sides with the cross pieces outward. I just like it better that way. I am going to fill in beams across here to give it a finished look. And holes here. There. And I'm going to put in a door. Now the directions the doors swing is up to you. I usually like to look and see what's inside the door before making the final decision about which way a door is going to go. But I'll put these in temporarily with the hinges on the right when looking outward. So actually I want to go around and do that. And you can always change your mind later. You always get more wood. Okay. Okay. We'll finish that end the way this end is in a minute. Let me get the walls laid in here so we have a enclosed space. Oops. Oh, forgot to put that beam back. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, hey, wait a minute. Oh, I need to eat something. Didn't build a chimney. No, I did not. When your roof is tall enough, you can get away without having a chimney. The smoke will just go up into the high rafters up there and kind of float around for a while and then just dissipate, and it won't smoke you out unless you're trying to build an upper level and stay up there. I will not be doing that in this build, so I think I can get away without a chimney. And it will create a more useful plan because it will leave me with more wall space. I would usually put a chimney somewhere along the walls. And not having one will leave me with more wall space. It is possible to build a chimney in the middle. It's a somewhat trickier design, but you can totally do it. All right, let's fill in the floor here. Now, you don't have to have all your floor pieces going the same way. That's what I'm going to do here, but hey, mix it up. Do a parquet style thing. Whatever works. Okay, we have defined our interior space. And a nice big space it is. Great. Let's come out here and see, finish off this other piece. Actually, let's do this. Let's work from the inside first. Take out that one. We'll take out that one. And we'll put those angled pieces in. All right. There is an item you can get that will increase your weight capacity. Boy, does it make work like this so much easier. Because I'm being limited at this point. I just can't pick up enough weight to carry lots of stacks of wood in my inventory. That too shall pass. Snapping bottom, okay. No, come on. Then the 1 meter. Then the beams. Let's see, is that everything? Ah, cross beam up here. Come on. Okay. And now, remind me again, how did we do the outside pieces? Yeah. Well, we can start with the X piece. That one. There. Then we have the angled pieces coming from this side. The bottom here. And like so. Okay. Yeah, okay. That'll do for now. We can maybe perfect some things later. One other thing I like to do, sometimes you can have a little toe tripper when you're going from the ground level to the interior across that space. So I always like to sneak in a stairway. And I'm going to attach it to the bottom of the stairs. So you'll barely notice it. It'll look just like a board across there. But if it definitely ensures you have a nice smooth transition from the outside to the inside. And it's also covered by that roof overhang, so it won't get damaged. And I'll usually do that on all the doors. I'll turn that around. More wood. Oops. Looks like night is definitely coming on. Do need to get our fire built here, so until we do that, we're still going to be going back to the old place. You know, I can barely see what I'm doing. Let's go back there and sleep. Okay. Wow, that didn't exactly help much. Hold on. Okay, I already have a stairway there. And there. I do not have one here. Point at the floor. Good. Close that door. Good. Close that door. And now we need to start thinking about a fireplace. The way I'm going to do this one is I'm going to put a fireplace in the middle. So let's take a look here. Figure out where the middle is. Okay. If I take this piece of floor out, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 wood floors there. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. I have 1, 2 this way, 1, 2. So that's the middle. I'm going to take out another piece here and another piece here. I'm going to build a bigger fireplace than we used before. Now, it's not going to be this big. What I really want is a fireplace that's about 2/3 of this space. So I'm going to build a border around it. Use these 1 meter beams. Actually, I will use the 1 meter beams all around because it creates snap points. Like so. And that gives me a nice big fireplace, room for at least 2 campfires. To fill in the floor, there's these smaller floor pieces. I don't know if you can see them very well here. Here, let me zoom in a bit. Yeah, that's better. They're 1/4 the size of the big pieces, and I can just stick them in there and use carefully. They look just like there's half floor pieces stuck in there. So great. Now we need some stones. That should do. Now, I could put in, let's see, it looks like there's easily room for 2 campfires. Will that be enough? Probably. Campfires are always at this funny angle. I like to turn them just a little bit so that the stones form more of a square shape, and line them up here that they're apparently centered in each of their respective halves. Just like that. That's good. In the fuel. Now, we'll watch and see how the smoke goes. This cloud down here will clear up, and then the smoke will go up to the roof and should keep us pretty clear. If it becomes a problem, one thing we could do is remove this beam here in the middle. Well, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Nope, can't reach it. Okay. The ladders are for. So by leaving this opening here, it creates a space where the smoke will slip out the end. And we'll do the same thing at the other end. Okay. Yep, you see the smoke is flowing along the top and moving out the two ends. Fine. From a chimney perspective, we're done. So now what are we going to use these two different fires for? Well, that's a good question. One of them will be used for the same purpose we've had in the past, cooking meat. So I'll stick one in the middle and one on each side, and that will be fine. That's plenty for the meat cooking. The other one will have a different purpose, and for that we're going to need to go get some things. I'm going to, wait, yeah, I'll drop all this here. I'm going to go back to the other place and pick up a few important items. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need is the forge. If I break that down, I pick up its pieces. The other thing I'm going to need is 10 tin. Dear, I only have 8 tin. Well, we'll have to figure that out in a minute. But now I need to get these things back to the other side. Oops, I forgot. I can't take metal through the portal. So for this, since I'm going to have to transport metal, I'm going to need to walk it over there. So, let's see. Can I take all that at once? Not even. Can I take a little bit more than that? Maybe can I take 4 of these? Nope. Still can't do that. Fine. I'll leave all this behind. Just walk over with what I've got. And we'll have to figure out the tin situation in a minute. So, it's down to the south. Oh, need some weapons. And if we eventually move our whole smelting operation over here, we're definitely going to have to be making this crossing multiple times. So that's where we'll want a bridge. I was thinking about building a bridge over there, but this more gentle slope might actually be better. Could even build a little roadway up here. Not too bad. Really? Okay. Yeah, that's our place. It's cool to come walking up on it from a distance. Really get a look at how it appears there. Okay, no. Here. So, first thing I'm going to do is just set up the forge in here. Doesn't really matter where. I'll move it later. And then I need a chest. Are any of these empty? You are. I'm going to drop the metal in there. And we're going to need to get more of that metal pretty soon. Get rid of that. Fix our gear. Oh yeah, wait, I had a little cooking station over here. Well, I've got one inside now, so actually I could break this whole thing down. Oh, didn't need that anymore. Okay. Let's remove these ladders from the roof. I think we're done with this. Now, you got to pay close attention to what you're breaking here. So watch the highlighting color. You see, that's the roof piece. That's the ladder. Break that. Come down here a little bit. That's the ladder again. And there. And then these are a little easier. Okay. Great. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Drop that off. Now, we need more tin. We've spotted tin in a number of places around. Actually, let's go back through the portal. In fact, let's bring our smelting operation over to the other side. I don't believe we have any ore or metal in there. We do not. Let's see if we got anything inside of these. There's some coal in there, but it will come out when we break it. Okay. So, I'll put the coal back in there. I'm concerned about weight at this point. Let's think about if there's anything else we can carry across. That can wait. There's the metal. We'll come back for that later. None of that needs to go. No. Can we bring the wood? Sure. That can all wait. Okay. And haven't really got a defined area for this yet, so I'll stick it over here. Crafting. Kiln. And a smelter. Maybe there. I don't have any coal. Oh, I didn't bring the coal. Then let's pop back through and see if we can find some tin. Actually, first, let's see how much coal we can carry. Not all that much. That we can do. Fill you up. We'll make a chest. Put the rest of the coal into. You know what? Just shove this in here. Get some more charcoal cooking. Grab the rest of that. Bring the chest. put this chest over here. That'll be for the ore. The rest of the coal in there. Okay. 10. We need 10. So, of course, the obvious place to look for tin is down by the water. Let's see. I think we've cleared out this part already. Look at that. It's a fish. There, I picked it up. Huh. Well, not long from now, we'll be able to figure out how to fish, fix that one to eat it. There's probably going to be a skeleton over here. We've been some days, so let's see. No? How strange. Wait. There he is. Okay. Anyway, here's some tin. Always keep your eyes open for unwanted friends coming to visit. Okay, hold a little bit more. Trolls, bears. Nobody around at the moment. Oh, here's one. Let's see. Go one more. Yep, that's probably it. Now, oh, wait, where am I going? Heading for the portal, but nope, that won't work. So let's just head south here. Do I have this copper marked? Yes. It's a deer down there. Taking a drink from the river. Ooh, that's a big patch of blueberries. Nice. Mark this. Not going to take them at this time, but good to know. Okay, any other surprises over there? One of the worst times to get a surprise enemy is when you're trying to clamber out of the water. They have you at a complete disadvantage, so always a good idea to check out that far bank before you go swimming across. There's a pig. Hello. I want your food. Yeah, I think a bridge down here and a little roadway would be just right. Did we ever read this one? See what you have to say. Ah, this is the one about the Forsaken. Yes, we've read this before. Okay. Hello, dear. We will get to you. Okay, what are we at? We have 2310, so we'll fill this up. Put the rest in here. Pick up the coal, put that in there. We're going to head inside. How much wood do we have? Not enough for a bed. Let's do this. Well, come on, walk out the door. Fish. Bones. Meat. Yes. Let's pick up some of that. Make a bed in here. I'll be temporary and all that, but it's nice to move into our place. There we go. First night in our new home. Okay. Actually, let's put this in here, because we're going to have to pick up that heavy tin. And there we go. We have 10 tin. Let's see what we can make with that. Okay. The thing we're going to make here, under the crafting menu, and it is the cauldron. And I'll just drop that right there. And now you see new recipes appear. Not many yet, to be sure. We're missing some important ingredients, but if I open up the cauldron, you see I can make boar jerky by combining boar meat with honey. Now, that gives 23 health and 23 stamina. It's one of those even foods, the white boar foods. Let's compare that to cooked boar meat. And it's a, little bit of this, a little bit of that. Its stamina is significantly higher, but it gives a little bit less health. And then we compare that to the honey, and its stamina is a little bit lower, but it gives a lot more health. So it's the compromise between plain old honey and plain old cooked boar meat. And it's a nice compromise and one that we can use for a little while. The other one is a lot more fun. This is Queen's Jam. And this is a stamina food, a yellow fork. And if we compare that to the honey, we see that it gives more stamina, significantly more health. Even better, it lasts longer, 20 minutes versus 15 minutes, and it has a higher tick rate. That's the speed at which it replenishes your health. It's twice as fast. So Queen's Jam is a definite step up from eating plain honey. And since it isn't made with honey, you still have the honey available to make boar jerky. One other thing to notice here is that this boar jerky recipe requires uncooked boar meat. So if you've been cooking all your boar meat, at this point you may want to stop and reconsider that. If you do want to make boar jerky, you need the raw meat to make it. There's kind of a set of rules about which meats you cook and which meats you don't once you have recipes that use uncooked meats. And I can tell you right now that boar meat is one that you never cook unless you just want cooked boar meat. And deer meat is one that you always cook, no matter what you're going to do with it, because all the other recipes require cooked meat. So, we have one piece of boar meat out there. We might have some at the other place. And we have some honey. Actually, let's go check our bees. We're not yet ready to start making boar jerky. Oh, we got plenty of honey here. No, we're not going to do that yet, but very, very soon. Very soon. And if we can get some of our farms going, growing carrots, there's some additional recipes we can get that are really great. Didn't really get that centered on the fire, did I? Let me move that. Okay. Maybe about there. Make sure I can still reach it from any side I'm standing on. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And then I have access to this to cook meat. So this is looking good. Looking good. Okay. Now, let's do a couple of other things here. First of all, let's move the portal inside so we don't have to keep running outside to use it. I'll just stick it down here somewhere. Miscellaneous. One of the cool things about portals is that they can be moved. Either half of them can be moved without affecting the other half, as long as you get the tag correct. Well, oh, okay, just taking its time. The other thing let's get this workbench moved inside. Let's think a moment about where we're going to put the workbenches inside, actually. Okay. So typically what I would do with something like this is I would have storage along one wall, and typically the opposite wall would be workbenches, so you can just run back and forth from storage to workbench. And then bedroom would be stuck away in one of the other corners. Let's see. Don't worry about those torches. Those are going to get moved. Actually, they're going to get replaced entirely. Let's you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to change my mind about this door. I'm going to take it out. And that means I'll take out the stairs outside there. And don't really need those posts. Instead, I will build beam there, put in a wall piece. Then I'm going to move the portal into this central location. I don't want it too close to the wall, but right there. Good. Yeah. Then I can use this end as crafting and storage, and this end more as bedroom and more storage. So let's put, let's see, could maybe put the workbench right here. Workbench. Squeeze that in there. I'm going to do it like this for the moment. I will move that later. I'm going to stick this on this side. And then I can put the forge over there. Now I may move this a little off-center, give some more room for the forge expansions. This is a fairly typical thing, by the way, to kind of try things, decide, no, that's not quite right, move it a little bit more over there, etc., etc. You keep fiddling with it until you're happy. All right, that's a good starting place. So, and then over on this side will be one of the main storage areas. Let me do this. Okay, I'll take that down. I'll take that down. Take that down. And put a new... Oh, I don't have any resin. Okay. I'm going to want to go get some of that. Any resin here? No. I'm going to want to go get some... Oh, wait a minute. I have resin back here. Get some of that copper. It's over at the other place. Because I want to put up some sconces, which are many ways advantageous over these torches. They burn longer, they burn brighter, and perhaps most importantly of all, they go up on the wall and they're out of the way. They're not stuck on the floor blocking other buildings. So I'll shove this in here. Right. Let's see, how you doing? You're empty. Fill you up. I'll probably be moving this whole arrangement anyway. This can all come down. Okay. Actually, these other benches can come down. Actually, no, not so fast. Not so fast. Come to think of it. Let me put this one back up, just as a workbench, because I'm going to be building something else around here. Okay. What is that? Beach seeds. Oh. Don't know how those got there. Leave these little remnants behind. I like that. And I am not eating. Oh dear. Very bad, very bad. Gotta watch that. I definitely have to go on a major hunting trip here before my food runs out. Okay, let's hop over to the other place. I want to bring that copper back here. Get the lighting going. Now, I don't think I can carry that whole load of copper, but let's see. Oh, I can't. Okay, is there anything else I want to bring? Maybe I'll bring that, because that's food. And that. And that. Yeah, okay. How much space? Yeah, that's not bad. Some more arrows, never hurt. No. No, that can wait. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I should have enough to do... There's 4 deer hide there. Let's see, what does that take? This thing. 5 deer hide, so with the rug and what's in the box. 20 leather scraps, 15 flint. Well, I've got 10 right inside that thing. Yeah, oh, don't do that. Have any more flint here? No. I can find some flint. So I've got almost all the ingredients. Yeah, actually, let me change my mind a little bit about the food stuff. And the seeds. And instead, I want 20 scraps. And no, I want all the deer hide. And I want this. Yes. And I'm going to want chopping block for its flint. Yeah, no, give me the flint. I don't need the wood. Can I carry that? Ooh, so close. I actually only need 5 deer hide. Ooh. Well. Okay. I'll leave the flint behind. I'll make another trip. Really? You're out here making trouble? Here. I will take a blueberry. Okay. Can't go through the portal. So, oh, nope, south. Oh man, do I have enough? I don't really need those stones. I only need that wood, that resin. These are good though. Okay. You're just irritating. Oh, okay, I'm fine. Because it was walking that first section. This would probably be a good spot to put the bridge through right here, because I've got that little ridge of terrain underneath. Almost walk across it. In fact, that is actually another way to make a bridge, is to raise the terrain. Not my favorite way. It kind of looks ugly, but you can do it. Yeah. One other important thing, which occurs to me as I'm walking up on this, is we are in a position now to receive the raid from the Elder. What that raid is, it starts with a message that says the forest is moving. And you'll get a whole bunch of Grey Dwarves coming at you, including a Brute and a Shaman at any unknown moment. And when that happens, you're going to be fighting for your life. There aren't any starred creatures among them, but they're still pretty dangerous. So that's something to be very wary about. Of course, that's too much weight here. Remove 4 of those. No. Let me remove 19 of those. That's better. Okay. All right, here we go. So to make the sconce, you need 2 wood, 2 copper, 2 resin, and a forge within range. And it looks just like this. I'll turn it around. And you see, it mounts very neatly on the wall. And I'll put a couple of them right here. That should be right about there. I often mark doorways like this. So it helps make the doorways visible and brightens up the whole room around it. When you place these, you have to be a little bit careful. If there's a structural member too close to the top of the flame, it will snuff the sconce out. What am I missing? 2 copper. Okay. All right. You see how bright these guys get. I will put one of these, let's see, I'll put one here. And I will put one over here. Oh, you're kidding. That was it? Oh well. I need to get more copper. Close enough. Now let me make sure they're all filled up. They hold 6 resin instead of the 4 like the smaller torches. And they last a good long time. Best of all, they're on the wall. Okay. Now, you can start thinking about storage and other useful things. Flint. I need 15 flint. Ooh, I need a new day. Oh, good. It's raining. Well, let's see. There might be flint down by the river here. Always a little tricky on these steep slopes, but, you know, we'll make it go. Or maybe we'll work our way along here. Oh, look at that. That's some flint. Maybe we can work our way along here and it'll be a little flatter. Okay. How are we doing? 11. Okay. Ah, Black Forest. Well. Probably some good flint on the other side. Looks like a good crossing spot. Is it here? Ah. Uh-oh. Not good. Remember, as long as you're walking and not swimming, you will recover stamina. So just get yourself into that walking or even just standing stance and you can recover. Oh, look, some tin. Well, didn't really come out here for that, but I'll grab it. This could be a dangerous time because the rain will cover up the sound of the approaching creatures, but they will definitely hear you. Oh, come on. All right, so yeah. I don't want the stones, I don't want the wood, I don't want that. I will take that, though. There's more further down, but I'm still here for flint. A little bit too far to jump. Get your claws back on. Get the food. I need... Oh, actually I have enough flint. Well, good to have some extra. Okay. Okay, come over here where it's not as steep. Skill improved. Swim 9. Not bad. Swimming is one of the slowest skills to level up. Because it's hard to swim for any length of time. And it's all based upon how many seconds you spend swimming. So, if you can swim in lots of small bursts, that's to your advantage. Because you have time to recover in between, but you're still swimming frequently. So anyway, back to the defenses. What we want to do is build a wall around this place. And we have some good ways to do that. Oh, wait. That's 10. Let's put it in the saucer. Is this full of coal? It is. Good. Now, this should enable us to make the upgrade, right? Right? Can I do that? I can. All right. Now, a couple of other times I put it outside. I don't want to do that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this, put a bench just over here. It has to be nearby in order to be able to build this. Why are you being difficult? Oh, because of that. There we go. So this is going to be the spot where the bench is. I'm trying to squeeze this as tight as I can into the wall. And I take down the bench. And then squeeze the bench on top of that as close as it will go. That way, you've got it as much out of the way as you can. It is going to be sticking out through the wall, but whatever. At least it's not taking up a lot of space on the inside. And then I can come along and kind of snuggle this guy in. Well, not sure if I'd call that snuggling, but okay. Get it as close as I can. And then there's another piece that's going to be coming in right over here. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. So now I only have a level 3 workbench here. Beautiful. And let's see. I'm going to start thinking about comfort over here. Many things to think about. It's easy to get lost in all the different things we want to do. Let's focus in on... let's focus in on defense. That's probably the most important thing. So what I want is to... here, I'm going to unload some of the extra arrows and that. I need as much capacity as I can to carry wood. All right. Let's start at this end because it's relatively open here. And what we're going to build is this, the stake wall. It gives a nice height that the creatures, or at least the creatures we're dealing with now, can't jump over. It's just kind of a free-form build. It's not really snapping to anything here. But what I usually like to do is to start by measuring space out from my house. Okay. And then building the wall linked to that. Not sitting nice on the ground, is it? There we go. Good. And then snapping it one piece to the other. As long as you're building on leveled ground, it's pretty easy. When the ground starts to slope, then you have to start using some other techniques. I'm going to enclose a pretty large space here. This interior space is going to be part of my base, and it'll all have a function. For example, farm fields. So let's see, I will make a right turn here. How's that look? I could probably go out one more. So we'll do that. Now you see it sinking into the terrain a little bit, but that's all right. There we go. You'll also notice I'm not building in any gates. It's my habit with these fences to get the fence built. Oh, yeah. And then worry about putting gates in it later. Oh, but I'm going to have a little problem here. Need to be able to get through and get my wood, so I'll open up a door there. I'm hoping I will have enough to build a complete wall around this place. If not, I'm going to be chopping wood. Okay. Do I include the raspberries? No, I don't think that's practical. So I want the wall to come in right about here somewhere. So I think one more piece. Turn it 90 degrees. Now, there is no way for you to plant raspberry bushes without mods from adding some mods to the game. There's a very popular mod that will do that for you, which I quite like to use, but again, I've been trying to show you an unmodded way of play, so we're not going to see that. Looks like it's just about lined up, I think. More wood. So I think we might run into this smelter here. That's all right. We can move it. Try not to pick up any of that stuff because it's so heavy. Oh dear. Actually, this is not lined up at all. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all right. We can bend just like that. And then come straight again. No rule says it has to be straight. Bend again. Yeah, this doesn't quite join up. That's all right. I'll snap one onto this side. And they'll overlap slightly. No harm done. Okay. We have now enclosed our whole space in a snake wall. It's a pretty good defense. If you are attacked by a bunch of creatures out here, what you can do is basically just stand behind the wall, and as they damage the wall, you repair it. Now, this business out the back, where they've got land that's higher than your fence, that's not super good, but for the creatures we're going to face for a while, they won't be able to get inside. So it'll be good enough. Now we have to think about where we're going to put gates in. So let's see. Here's about the middle of it. So maybe a gate here. That's not bad. So let's see how I typically build a gate in a stake wall. Take some more wood. And tend to follow a similar pattern. Oh, what I need though, yes, I need a little bit of that. Can I pick that up? Here, I'll leave this behind. So I use some core wood. And what I do is I take these big 4-meter core wood poles and put them up on either side. then, nope, not that. Yeah. And I turn these 90 degrees to create supports and then put a piece of roof over it, like so. And that will ensure that at least this gate portion of it doesn't take weathering damage. Stake wall itself doesn't take weathering damage either, but these poles and so forth here will. So it's good to protect them with a bit of roof. Okay, so that's a gate. Now, where else do we want to have a gate? Kind of got to think about where we're going when we come out of here. Am I holding that? Okay. That's a pretty good direction to go right there in the middle of the wall. And it's kind of opposite this door. That's handy. So maybe like right here. Or that one. Let's see. Try this one. No, actually, I think the one next door is better. Yeah. Okay. Put the stake wall back. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So we do the poles. Oop. Little beams. Bit of roof. And the door. Don't really need a door out the back. How about over here? Where's a good spot to come out? Let's just make a hole and see. Yeah, anywhere along here is okay. This is pretty good. Yeah, we'll go with this. Okay. And the door. Good. Yeah, I'm always glad to get the defenses laid out. It feels a lot better when that's there. Now, let's go out here and actually tell you what we're going to do. We're going to grab that. And I'm just going to temporarily throw down some chests in here because I want to move all this stuff inside. Oh, bang, bang, bang. Okay. I'll put some wood here. See how much wood I've got. Take all that. Take all that. Yes, I know I'm way too heavy. It's all right. Okay. Take all that. Can't pick that up. Okay. Get the honey. I'll break these down and bring them inside. You know, I'm going to put these over here, just kind of out in the open. Make sure they're happy. Good. Then, the last piece of building defenses is spawn suppression. So, when you select something to be able to build, you see it creates this circle around where the workbench is. That's the area in which you can use this workbench to build things. It's also the same area in which that workbench will suppress the spawning of creatures, or at least from standard spawners. Special spawners like those gray dwarf bonfire things are not stopped by this, but regular spawners are. So we kind of don't want creatures spawning right around our base. So what I usually do is I put workbenches in strategic locations around the base. You know what? This is really hard to see. Let's get to the next day here. Now, workbenches are only one of the things that suppress spawns. Other things like torches do it as well. But for the moment, we're just going to use workbenches. I'm going to put this in the corner here. The range of this suppression is a 20-meter radius. When you upgrade workbenches, the radius increases, but for the most part, that doesn't matter because we're going to use unupgraded workbenches for this purpose. So what I usually tend to do there is try to put them about every 10 meters so that they overlap and create a complete border. So this one is located essentially where that fence bit is. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the next one should go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, break that one down. 5, 6, well, we got to the corner, so I'll put that there. And actually, because this one was kind of, I'll put this closer to the door there. So it's kind of halfway in between. So I'll do the same thing here. 1, 2, sorry, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what, I'm going to stick this one here. Our space is small enough that we can kind of just stick them in the corners and one in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. So, yeah, right about there. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then here, this one can go on this side. Okay. So now everywhere out around there is spawn suppressed. The benches inside the building will cover the middle part, and now every single part of this base is covered. If you wander around with a constructible item selected and watch the little panel down below where it shows wood pole requires wood and a workbench, and then just sort of walk over your whole base, you'll be able to see that no place in here does the workbench symbol ever start flashing red, indicating that every single inch inside the building has a workbench covering it and suppressing spawns. And you'd see if I went outside that a similar thing would happen. we're some distance around the building. I can walk out here, and I've got coverage all the way out here. See, that looks like the coverage is going to end, but nope, another one takes over because I've overlapped them. And so on, so on. So spawns are being suppressed in all of this area that's covered by these marked circles. And that's nice because it just kind of keeps things a little bit quiet in your neighborhood, as it were. All right. So I've got my defenses built up as best I can. Oh, by the way, the other advantage of having these workbenches out here is you are guaranteed that every inch of this stake wall can be repaired by just wandering around it and using your hammer to repair it. So if you are being attacked on the outside, you can stand on the inside here and equip your hammer, put it on repair, and just click, 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 click on the fence pieces to repair them. And they'll never break down. Okay, let's pick up this tin. And our next job will be building some significant storage inside. Fix your gear. But that's going to have to wait till next time. We're kind of coming to the end of this session. So I'm going to talk again briefly about Val-Con. Val-Con is coming up. The convention itself starts on April 17th, 2026. Runs through April 19th. Excuse me. And lots of exciting things going to be happening. If you want to find out more about it, go to val-con.org. That's val-con.org. There you can find links describing the content you're going to see and ways that you can join up and participate. Starting this coming Saturday, April 11th, 2026, at 12 UTC, there's going to be a stream broadcast from the Val-Con YouTube and the Val-Con Twitch channels. And that will be the Hype Week stream. There'll also be a second stream at, I believe it's at 19 UTC. And I'm going to be hosting a server during the Hype Week, the Vanillahime server. And if you join the 12 UTC stream, you'll hear about Vanillahime. You'll get login information, and you can join in and log into the Vanillahime server and play Vanilla Valheim. And I will be there, not the entire time, but frequently throughout the Hype Week, running from April 11th through at least April 16th. We'll also still be there through the rest of the convention days. And it's going to be a great time. We've got a wonderful world. The world I've been streaming from here, this world, this is not Vanillahime. Vanillahime is going to be a different world key with hopefully better access to things like copper nodes and burial chambers. In fact, I know it's better because it's a world key I've used before. So while you've been seeing me play Vanilla Valheim, you have not been seeing Vanillahime itself. So I didn't want to give away any spoilers about how that world is arranged. We'll all start over on that world. We'll start with fresh characters. And I ask you to bring a fresh character, no outside items. And we'll be able to play and pretty freely explore the world, go where you want, build what you want. I'm asking all the participants not to build on the Forsaken sites or the sites of the trading creatures. But other than that, you're pretty free to build whatever you want. No mods of any kind are required. Come on in with your pure vanilla Valheim and you can play. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for joining my stream today. I will be back on tomorrow at 15 UTC when we'll be building a storage system and continuing our quest for metals and other useful things. And we'll learn a lot more about the things you can make with bronze. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'll see you then.